From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
It's been 1 month since the formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump began. So what are Americans thinking about the process so far? We get reaction from the White House lawn.
So many women and men have been through sexual assault in their lives, so many.
Plus, Senator Martha McSally is speaking out about sexual assaults in the military.
And illegal pumpkins? If you don't want to be left saying boo this Halloween, we'll tell you what not to do when you set out your ghoulish decorations.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Christopher Lindsay.
And I'm Mackenzie Pavicic. Thank you for joining us.
It was 1 month ago today that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced the start of an impeachment inquiry of President Donald Trump.
There's been a lot of action and a lot of arguing in the month since, but are people feeling differently about the impeachment now?
Heather Cumberledge in our Washington bureau went to the president's front yard to ask that question.
Outside of the White House today said their feelings about impeachment have changed over the course of the past month. They've only grown stronger. People like Show Low, Arizona resident Raymond Kidwell. He's a Trump supporter who doesn't think the president is being treated fairly.
Well, for one, they're not giving him any due process at all. From where I stand right now, it looks like a tyrant act of government.
Janet Berry from Texas agrees that Democrats need to ease up.
I just think they need to leave Trump alone. They've been after him for 3 years, and it's time to stop and do what they need to do for the people instead of their own personal agenda.
But Wisconsin resident Monica Butler sees things from a different angle.
I believe that the impeachment inquiry is definitely worthwhile.
Butler's opinion hasn't changed. Neither has Sacramento resident Irma Cams.
It hasn't. I'm still in favor of impeachment.
Chris Bean said that she wanted to give Trump a chance at first. But after the Mueller report, the president's refusal to release his taxes, and frequent trips to his resorts, she thinks it's time.
I didn't think he needed to be impeached from day one, but I think over the last few years we've learned a lot about what we need to know.
Opinions here were pretty evenly divided about, much like the country, where polls show a slight majority backing impeachment. Reporting from the White House, Heather Cumberledge, Cronkite News.
Governor Doug Ducey will light the Arizona State Capitol's dome purple tonight in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And right now, people around the country are wearing purple in solidarity with victims and survivors. Those experiencing domestic violence can call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 for help. And Arizona Senator Martha McSally speaking out against sexual assaults in the armed forces. She spoke at the Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit in Washington. McSally, the first woman in the Air Force to fly in combat, came out earlier this year saying that she was raped while serving our country.
So many have been through sexual abuse, sexual assault. I mean, it's in a crowd this size, it's a significant percentage of us. Some people take it to their grave. When it comes to our military, this is a cancer on our good order and discipline and our mission.
McSally is also making headlines for her involvement in a new gun control bill. The bill, which she and 4 other Republican senators introduced today, expands funding for mental health care, helps police work with internet service providers to monitor threats online, and even expedites the death penalty following mass shootings. The bill does not place additional restrictions on the legal purchase of firearms.
Developing now, an MLB umpire is under fire for posting a tweet threatening civil war over the Trump impeachment inquiry. In the since deleted tweet, umpire Rob Drake said he would purchase an AR-15 rifle because of the attempt to impeach the president, stating if it happens, quote, "you will have another civil war." MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred responded, saying the league will be looking into this. The MLB Umpires Association also released a statement saying the views expressed by Drake do not reflect those of the association. They added that Drake chose to express himself the wrong way. America is a technology leader, but that's not by accident. That was the message university officials brought to a Senate committee this week, urging lawmakers to continue funding research so the U.S. can keep the edge. Cronkite News reporter Brian Peach has a story from our Washington bureau.
Ask Arizona State University's Chief Research and Innovation Officer about the benefits of research at the university, and he can start running through the list.
For example, the Ebola vaccine, the work started at ASU. We also did work on the Zika virus. So we're also working on some pioneering technologies for protecting the cyberspace.
Panchanathan was one of a handful of university officials from around the country who were on Capitol Hill recently to tell lawmakers about the importance of such research and the need to support it with federal funding. The officials from Arizona, Mississippi, and Wisconsin told senators not to take those advancements for granted, citing challenges that face research and innovation in the United States, such as China's push to innovate.
I am confident that if we can address some of these priorities, we will continue to be in the vanguard of global competitiveness and economic prosperity.
Panchanathan, head of ASU's Knowledge Enterprise, told lawmakers that federal investments in science and engineering education have allowed the U.S. to lead in research. Diane Suvane, chair of the National Science Board, said that China has either surpassed or will soon surpass the U.S. in research and development spending. Panchanathan said federal funding would help keep the U.S. as a leader in research.
The United States has always been in the vanguard of competitiveness. So we want to not only maintain that, but we want to further leapfrog into the future.
Research advocates like Suvane said that staying at the front of the research pack helps protect the U.S. in an increasingly competitive world. She told lawmakers that the best way to lead the future is to invent it. In Washington, Brian Peach, Cronkite News.
Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema met with officials at the White House this week to discuss veteran suicide prevention. In a meeting with Veterans Affairs Secretary Robert Wilkie and other lawmakers, Sinema discussed her desire to end the stigma of discussing suicide among veterans. She introduced legislation this year promoting information sharing between vets, their families, and the Department of Defense. That provision was passed in the Senate and has been included in the House version of the bill as well.
This week, Arizona officials announced a portion of the Loop 202 freeway will be renamed in honor of late U.S. Congressman Ed Pastor. Pastor died last year after serving over 40 years in Congress and on the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Pastor was also the first Mexican-American from Arizona to be elected to Congress.
An arrival ceremony was held today on Capitol Hill for the remains of Representative Elijah Cummings, who died last week. The late Oversight Committee chairman is now the first African-American lawmaker to lie in state at the Capitol. Remarks were given by friends and colleagues on both sides of the aisle as they remembered him for his strong moral courage and integrity.
His voice could shake mountains, stir the most cynical hearts, inspiring us all to be better.
Cummings' funeral will be held in Baltimore tomorrow.
When we come back, a travel warning for anyone heading to Sky Harbor next weekend. The impact an upcoming runway renovation could have at America's friendliest airport. Next.
And por tu salud, we will explain how the Spanish version of an employee wellness program is affecting Hispanic workers right here in the Valley.
On stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland.
In Washington.
In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
Welcome to another edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Taylor Rocha. Let's talk sports.
For the latest on local sports and beyond, we've got you covered.
Let's do this thing.
We challenge reporters to go beyond, a game story. We want stories with depth.
It's just a crucial step from the college experience into the professional experience while you're still in school.
At Cronkite Sports Now, watch the journalists of tomorrow cover sports today.
What I really like about whether we're talking Horizon or PBS NewsHour is the fact it's not just one voice. We typically will get several voices talking, different viewpoints. So you're getting a good analysis of what's going on. We need good reporting, and that's what I depend on with PBS.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
I had swore I was not going to watch the Vietnam War because I could remember the day I watched us finally get the helicopters out thinking, okay, it's over, and then went to my college class. Next thing I know, I'm watching Ken Burns' Vietnam. And the thing that caught me so much was how he was talking to the winners, and this North Vietnamese general said, there's no winners in a war. That just stopped me dead in my tracks.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
Travelers looking to fly out of Sky Harbor in early next month may need to plan ahead for delays. From November 1st to the 4th, one of Sky Harbor's 3 runways will be shut down for maintenance. The repairs include lighting upgrades, rubber removal, and touch-ups of the runway's paint and concrete. Sky Harbor officials worked with the FAA to decide when the repairs would take place and determined these dates would be the least disruptive for travelers.
Right now, we are in the middle of National Teen Driver Safety Week. So here are some tips for helping your teenagers stay safe on the road. First, simply talk to your teen about safe driving habits like the 3-second rule and reducing distractions in the car. You can also try letting your teen drive with you in the passenger seat when you go somewhere together. It's a great opportunity to let them practice while you supervise and ensure they're following the rules of the road. And most importantly, be a good role model. Humans are creatures of habit, and the earlier and more often you show your child how to drive safely, the better.
A new initiative seeks to improve the quality of life for employees of Arizona companies. Its name in Spanish is Por Tu Salud, and it's already available and free. Ryan Mushkat spoke to representatives of an organization that's using the app with their employees.
Por Tu Salud is a Spanish version of the Wellness A to Z initiative, which is part of the Greater Phoenix Chamber Foundation. It is designed to offer free, accessible wellness resources to employers in Arizona. Felipe Ruiz from Equality Health says his organization is using the benefits provided by this program.
It's a benefit not just for us, but also for the family. To be healthy, it's a full circle to be more active. To make a small change now is making a big change in the future.
Por Tu Salud is specifically focused on improving the quality of life of the Spanish-speaking community. Its purpose is to attract employees, retain them, improve their productivity, and lower absences. The program promotes good eating habits, exercise, and a healthy life-work balance. Tomas Leon at Equality Health says this initiative is a great tool, not just for his employees, but also to promote healthy habits among underserved communities. He says his organization is developing Spanish language material to inform the Hispanic community about healthy habits.
And we focus on subpopulations that have experienced greater disparities in care and health. And so we're bringing a new culture of care to the community here in Arizona.
According to Kim Samuel, Senior Vice President of Equality Health, the organization has over 100 employees participating in the program, which is very beneficial for them.
As a company, we also try to serve the diversity of our workforce as well, which we feel like the Wellness A to Z helps us address that.
Por Tu Salud has partnered with companies in the Valley, such as Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Delta Dental of Arizona, and more.
Por Tu Salud offers free solutions for businesses in Arizona. It complements existing programs and offers tools to improve them.
Coming up next on Cronkite News at 5, 'tis the season for carving pumpkins. But before putting candles inside those jack-o'-lanterns to celebrate Halloween, you'll want to be aware of where you can set them to avoid getting a trick-or-treat ticket.
Halloween is coming up and there are plenty of events to go to, but do you need to wear a warmer costume or a cooler costume? I'll let you know up next.
Join Emmy Award-winning NBC anchor Lester Holt as he receives the 2019 Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism. Attracting industry leaders from the media, politics, business, and education, the award luncheon is the Cronkite School's signature event. Tickets for the luncheon ceremony on Monday, November 4th at the Sheraton in Phoenix are available for sale at cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon or call 602-496-0482.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, Covering Sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland, in Washington, in Louisville.
From Jerusalem. Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
It's almost Halloween, and people are decorating their houses to welcome trick-or-treaters.
But the sweet smell of pumpkin might attract desert wildlife as well, and that you do not want to encounter.
Cronkite News reporter Peter Gong is joining us now to tell us what you need to know about putting pumpkins on your doorsteps.
The pumpkin aroma attracts javelinas as they have a good sense of smell and they love to snack on them. Javelinas can smell pumpkins from a far distance, bringing them in from the desert areas into neighborhoods. Because of that, it's recommended that you not display your jack-o'-lanterns outside. Arizona Game and Fish has tips on how you can safely display your pumpkins.
If people want to put up pumpkins as decorations, they can put it up on tall pedestals around their house, maybe on top of a wall where they can't be reached by javelinas because javelinas can't jump. Or they could put it on a low roof of a house, or even better, inside your house in a window so that you can see it from the outside, but it's protected so the javelina can't get to it.
Arizona Game and Fish says the act of intentionally attracting wildlife by putting out a pumpkin outside your home is illegal. You will get a warning if you are caught having a pumpkin outside your house, and if you don't comply, then you will get a citation. You can also safely dispose pumpkins by donating pumpkins to Southwest Wildlife. So please, trick or treat for the kids and not for wildlife. Live in the Cronkite studio, Peter Gahn, Cronkite News.
Trying to find your Halloween spirit? Well, there are plenty of attractions around the valley to give you chills.
Reporter Caitlin Keenahan takes us through Scaryzona.
The sun sets on another beautiful Arizona day. But at Scaryzona, that's when the monsters come out to play.
Welcome to Scaryzona Scareground.
We've been in the business for about 24 years now, doing haunted houses, scaring people seasonally.
But around here, zombies don't just rise from the graves. First, their skin is painted. And then their hair is ratted to look like death.
I like this position because it allows for me to express myself in an awkward and unique way, and hell, scare myself sometimes, who knows?
And the self-expression is evident when you enter the scariest house on the lot.
Flair's Slaughterhouse is the traditional blood, guts, gore. The story basis is about a guy who used to work in a slaughterhouse who's merging animal parts with humans.
So what's your blood type?
The characters are creepy. There's a pig.
Look at my baby. Isn't he cute?
And a clown, too. Plus, there's this guy.
I'm coming to get you.
People should expect anticipation because it's really antsy, you're kind of scared what's gonna come next.
This house is beyond scary. It's creepy in a way because sometimes you just don't see things coming.
And adrenaline junkies don't leave without a scream.
It's totally worth it. It's totally worth your money.
So go for a walk on the dark side this season and scream at Scary.
Well, if Scaryzona does anything for me, it just lets me know that spooky season is officially here.
So, Annika, what kind of weather can we expect for the upcoming Halloween weekend?
Well, you know, Chris, when the ghouls come out, so do the cools. Weather is cooling down just a little bit in Arizona. Let's check it out. Up north, it's especially cooler right now. It's 51 degrees in Window Rock. That is cooler than it's been in a while. And of course, down in the valley area, it's still sticking stubbornly around the 80s. As we look at our evening when you're leaving work, 82 degrees. The sun is going to set a little bit early and we'll head into the lower 70s. And then at tomorrow, it's still a little bit warmer. Window Rock is back at 63 degrees. That's an increase from what it is right now. And then, of course, down south in Yuma, all the way across the state, 87. That's probably our hottest part of the state. And going into the weekend, there are tons of Halloween events. Dia de los Muertos at Steel Indian School Park, Halloween Town at the Phoenix Premium Outlets. I'm told there's going to be a pumpkin patch there, so you'll want to take the kids. And then we also have a second Dia de los Muertos at the Mesa Arts Center and Strange Garden at the Desert Botanical Gardens. It's just going to be a great time. You might even see some ghosts, so you'll have to go and let us know. Going into the weekend, when you want to go to all those Halloween parties, dress cooler. It's going to be mid-80s into the rest of the week. For the rest of those Halloween parties and actual Halloween on Thursday, mid-70s. Wear some cool costumes. I'm Annika Abbott in the Cronkite News Weather Center.
Up next, professional wrestling has had many major events in Arizona in recent years.
After the break, we'll take you inside the minor league full of hopefuls looking for their shot on the mat.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland. In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem. Live in Philadelphia.
From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
Welcome to another edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Taylor Rocha. Let's talk sports.
For the latest on local sports and beyond, we've got you covered.
Let's do this thing.
We challenge reporters to go beyond, a game story. We want stories with depth.
It's just a crucial step from the college experience into the professional experience while you're still in school.
At Cronkite Sports Now, watch the journalists of tomorrow cover sports today.
What I really like about whether we're talking Horizon or PBS NewsHour is the fact it's not just one voice. We typically will get several voices talking, different viewpoints. So you're getting a good analysis of what's going on. We need good reporting, and that's what I depend on with PBS.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
I had swore I was not going to watch the Vietnam War because I could remember the day I watched us finally get the helicopters out thinking, okay, it's over, and then went to my college class. Next thing I know, I'm watching Ken Burns' Vietnam. And the thing that caught me so much was how he was talking to the winners, and this North Vietnamese general said, there's no winners in war. That just stopped me dead in my tracks.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
On the next Arizona Horizon, how Native Americans are finding ways to address the problem of suicide in American Indian communities. And we'll look at a new real estate trend that finds people looking for a downtown lifestyle in the suburbs.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, more information emerges about President Trump withholding military aid to Ukraine for political favors. Coming up after Cronkite News and Arizona Horizon on Arizona PBS.
Indie wrestling companies are grooming local talent and recruiting former WWE superstars. And one Arizona company is looking for locals to sign up for their academy in Tucson this weekend.
Reporter Erica Morris went to a match at the Fox Theater in Pomona, California to find out about life in the ring for these amateurs and retired pros who show them the ropes.
Cactus League Wrestling, an independent company on the rise, is giving wrestling fans
less promos and more action.
Adam Dobris, who founded the company in 2018, wanted to give the unknown heroes and heels of wrestling the chance to shine.
Bringing in all the guys that have a chance. I mean, some of these guys are phenomenal, just no one's been able to see them.
He also brings in former WWE talent to provide veteran wrestlers with
an outlet of, hey, you know, we're back in something, you know, that's growing big.
James Ellsworth, whose career has mainly been in the indie circuit, had a brief stint in WWE after fighting for 14 years to get there.
So when you see a flyer for a show and you see former WWE guys, you're like, oh, this promotion means business. They want to attract people, they want to draw good crowds, and they want to have good shows. So for wrestlers, they're like, I need to be on that show because everybody's on that show.
And for Seville Alvarez, that's exactly what happened.
I was walking across the street after a WWE show, and I got a flyer, and they said, would you like to train to be a professional wrestler? And I was like, well, yeah, it's been my dream the whole time.
Alvarez has been living out his dream for 11 years, waiting for his shot on the main stage.
If somebody from the mainstream, a scout, is looking and going, who's this kid? Yeah, let me take a look at him. Boom, I got a contract. I'm famous, baby. You know, something like that. So, you know, I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that, you know, that call one day. And it will be because of the fans. Yeah.
And the fans? They're pleased with the fresh faces that bring new life to independent matches.
Harder work. I see more of a work ethic, less complacency. I see them being more connected with the fans.
That connection is what drives each show, giving indie wrestlers more chances to prove themselves.
We're just growing and growing and growing and growing. And with the fan support, you know, it just can continue.
And from the looks of it, the fans aren't going anywhere. In Pomona, California, Erica Morris, Cronkite News.
Cactus League Wrestling will be holding a camp that's open to all on October 27th and 28th at The Rock in Tucson.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.